So much has gone on over the past week, and we come here every Sunday to dish it out. Yes, we do. And first off, kind of a breaking story in New York. Jets cornerback Chris Boyd shot in Midtown Manhattan. Oh, well. I don't mean to sound, aloof about it, flippant about it, but it's New York. It is New York. He was, I guess, out with friends, maybe. It was 2 a.m., right around 38th Street and 7th Avenue, which is, to anybody that isn't in New York, is Midtown Manhattan. Right in the center of it, a lot going on there. And he was shot in the abdomen, taken to the hospital. He's in serious but stable condition. And this is New York. I don't mean to make people paranoid or want people to think that you have to be paranoid. You walk around New York City wondering where the shot's going to come from or where the pipe is going to be laid across your head. But you do have to keep your eyes open, your head on the proverbial swivel, and pay attention. You don't be on your phone. Don't talk to anybody. Anyone who thinks they are going to make a new friend in Midtown Manhattan at 2 a.m. in 2025, you're out of your gourd. There are no friends to be had. You're not finding someone go, I can't believe it, 2 a.m., New York City, and this guy is into the same hobbies I am. No one out at that hour is up to any good. Probably the most innocent people are leaving bars and places hammered, and that's not a good thing either. But what are you doing? And this guy, he's a football player. He's got a pretty good career, I guess. I don't know much about him. But why are you? He got into an altercation with another gentleman, and that gentleman shot him. You can't afford to have any pride when you're walking around in New York City. Don't think you can stand up for yourself or get into some kind of an altercation with somebody because the odds that they might do something to you, either assault you or shoot you and kill you, whatever, it's not out of the question, that's for sure. So what is he doing? Getting into some type of argument with a man at 2 a.m, Midtown Manhattan, and he gets himself shot. The other thing, obviously, is that New York City hates letting people defend themselves. We've seen this before. The Second Amendment is just not viable in New York City, especially. New York State's tough enough, but New York City, good luck. They went to court. The Supreme Court actually ruled that the way New York City was they didn't have to give you a pistol permit. You could fill out all the paperwork, jump through all their hoops, pass it with flying colors, never had any, not even a traffic ticket. And they could turn around and go, nope, you don't need one. Well, I don't think the Constitution is based on what we need. These are God-given rights that we have. How could you tell me I am not allowed to exercise my Second Amendment right in your fair city? So that went on for quite some time, but the Supreme Court finally ruled that they can't do that. So people with New York State pistol permits were now able to go into New York City. You used to have to get an attachment, it was called. I lived out on Long Island for many years, and I wanted to be able to carry a gun in New York City where I worked, and I had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. and jumped through so many hoops, and every single traffic ticket I had gotten my entire life had to be documented. And I needed knowledge as to how those traffic violations were disposed of. What happened there? Oh, I paid a fine. Everything. And if you get something wrong, they deny you, and you go back on the bottom of the 1 year long waiting list. So I went through all this. I hired a lawyer to do it for me. The lawyer wound up getting in trouble many years later for bribing the officials at one police plaza that actually give out the pistol permits. So the whole thing was corrupt anyway. That's probably where my thousands of dollars I paid the lawyer went to, was bribing the officials to get my permit. Whatever the case may be, I did get my permit, and I was allowed to carry in New York City, which no one was legally allowed to carry. There were plenty of people carrying. They're called criminals. They're thugs. They're violent felons. They're allowed. Not really allowed, but no one does much about it. And that's most likely who shot Chris Boyd of the New York Jets late last night. So, you know, they don't want you protecting yourself. They always say that if you allow people to carry firearms, that it's going to be the Wild West. Ah, yes. You know what the Wild West had? It was called Colt 45s, the pistols. They were known as peacekeepers. The peacekeeper, the Colt 45. People would go, what does that mean? Why are you calling a deadly weapon a peacekeeper? Because it gave you equal power to anyone else that had a peacemaker or reasonable facsimile thereof. So there was a certain balance of power, a détente in place. And, you know, the government are the first people that start screaming that you don't need weapons, and it just makes things more violent, and more people get shot. And that's just not true. And the government itself, back in during the Cold War, there was a balance of power, a détente with the Soviet Union, the United States. Mutually assured destruction. You're pointing nuclear missiles at each other. Both sides know that if they jump the gun and try something, the other side is just going to do what they do. And the peacekeeper in the Old West was based on that. And these days, an armed population is a polite population. And I'm talking about people, legal, law-abiding citizens that are exercising their Second Amendment right. But New York, like I said, the Supreme Court said, well, you have to allow people that have a New York state permit to carry their gun concealed in New York City. And they went, oh, okay. And then they put up gun restriction zones, which completely negated your ability to be able to carry a gun in New York City. Times Square, one of the worst places in New York City for crime and assaults and even murders. And you are not allowed to carry a concealed weapon, even if you have a permit, in any part of Times Square. If somehow you're found out that you have that weapon on you, it doesn't matter if you're legal, you have a New York State license, you're in the city, the Supreme Court said you could carry in New York City, you will go to jail. You will go to jail. And they put those restrictions all over New York. You can't be within a certain distance of a school, of a courthouse, of any federal building. And you look at a map of New York and realize those are overlapping places. The circle around the school overlaps with the circle around the federal building and the colleges and churches and everything else. So they've effectively told the Supreme Court to shove it. And by doing that, have told you, the American citizen, that your rights don't matter, that you can shove it. And And it's still in court. It's still going through court, but they will continue their never-ending assault on your rights. And they keep getting away with it. They make more restrictions, and it does not allow you to be on equal footing with people that want to do you harm. You have a petite woman, maybe, an older gal, like our callers here, an older gal that it wouldn't last a second in a physical altercation with some of these criminal monsters roaming the street. You give her a gun, she trains, go to the range, train, do everything you're legally obligated to do and morally obligated to do and socially obligated to do, to make sure you are very good, if I may use the term, very well trained in firearms. And now that woman can never be put in a position, not never, but it sure is a much more rare occurrence, that she's going to be put in a position where she cannot defend herself against any adversary. New York State and New York City has said, nope, go screw. We don't care about your safety. We just don't care. So, that's where you're at, New York. Good luck. So we'll see what happens with Jets cornerback Chris Boyd, shot in Midtown Manhattan last night. Just, it's going to get worse, people. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I think you know that. Okay, we are just getting started here. Please, what are you doing? Where else are you going? You're going to stick around. We'll be right back. There's a story that's just crazy. This should be one of the biggest stories that the mainstream media should be talking about, because it involves Jeffrey Epstein. Uh-oh. We've heard a lot about this Epstein-Trump connection. I read some ridiculous tweet by Stephen King, author Stephen King, another one who has just destroyed his legacy. He went from, it's kind of fun, author of horror, the macabre. And now he's just a jackass. So he was talking about the Epstein thing, going, if Trump has nothing to hide as far as the Jeffrey Epstein thing goes, why won't he release all the paperwork and files attached to it? And I was thinking, well, if Trump did have something linking him to Epstein and his island and the girls and all that, why didn't the Biden administration put out that? They had him. They had them just like Trump supposedly has them. And you know damn well they would do anything to prevent Trump from becoming president in the 2024 election. So why didn't they pull it out? Well, there's a couple of things there you could speculate about. Maybe everyone is tainted. Maybe every single politician and judge and actor and everyone somehow was mixed up with Jeffrey Epstein. It certainly seems that way. It really does seem that way. Every new piece of information we get is, this person had something going on with Jeffrey Epstein. And then this one. So, the mainstream media hating Trump is trying to make a link there. And look, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm a Trump supporter, but I can't sit here with any certainty and say that Trump had no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. He did nothing wrong in any of his meetings or times that he was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane or whatever. I don't know. How the hell would I know? And also, how the hell would you know? Because a lot of people like saying, he's this, he's that. They throw the pedophile word around. He's a criminal. You don't know either. So keep it real and We can wait and see. But this story isn't speculation. This happened. We got this wonderful U.S. House of Representatives member, Miss Plaskett. Yes, Miss Plaskett. What's her full name? Newly released documents from Jeffrey Epstein's estate show the convicted sex offender appeared to be texting with a member of Congress during the 2019 House hearing with Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former fixer, personal attorney. And those messages may have influenced the lawmakers' questioning. This is insanity. The documents provided to Congress this week include transcripts suggesting Epstein was in direct contact with the lawmaker as the hearing unfolded. Although the transcript does not name the lawmaker, Epstein was texting during the February 2019 hearing. An analysis by the Post suggests it was Stacey Plaskett, the U.S. Virgin Islands non-voting Democratic delegate. What is she doing up there anyway? Why is she at a hearing? She can't vote. It's the Virgin Islands. But they get this. They matched the timestamps of the messages with the video of the hearing. And the analysts concluded that Plaskett was the member of Congress in contact with Epstein. At the time, Cohen was appearing before the House Oversight Committee to testify against Trump, accusing him of racism, financial fraud, and directing hush money payments to conceal his extramarital affairs. So here's this woman, this representative of the Virgin Islands, and she's texting with Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey is telling her what questions to ask Cohen during this, another one of these kangaroo court hearing Trump executions that were all the rage back then. So, I mean, she should at the very least be thrown out. It's a useless seat, but she should be thrown out. Where are the people saying that she should have to resign immediately? And I don't know what criminal charges you might be able to connect to her actions there. But it seems a little odd. And why was she doing it? Again, this Jeffrey Epstein guy, his island is within her jurisdiction, is what I hear. So what favors were these two doing for each other that she could be sitting there during a very, very high-profile congressional hearing and taking direction from the likes of Jeffrey Epstein? This Epstein thing is a hell of a lot bigger than they're trying to present it. And they can only do so much trying to downplay how involved this guy was in our government. You know, how many people did this guy have dirt on? And the fact that, you know, he commits suicide in jail and no one saw anything. The guards at Rikers were asleep. The camera didn't work. Oh, I mean, it is such a movie level, unbelievable movie level nonsense that's going on with this Epstein thing. And, you know, where's it going to end up? Maybe, look, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe Trump was all tied up with this. Maybe he was going to the island and doing terrible things. I don't know. But it certainly wasn't just Donald Trump. And I think that is a great excuse for the Biden administration to never have pulled these records out and tried to crucify Donald Trump with those. Oh, they tried to kill him. They tried to put him in prison. But why? Why wouldn't they pull these files out if they show that Donald Trump was doing terrible things with Jeffrey Epstein on that island, because we know the Clintons are somehow tied up in it. A painting of Bill Clinton in that red dress with high heels on? I mean, come on. All right, we're going to return in mere moments. Our phone lines are full, and we will take your calls next. Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games. No nonsense, ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Al from Yonkers. What's up, Al?
Hey, Anthony. Nice to speak to you, and thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. I just want to say with, the President Trump, just a couple of things quickly. I know you got a lot of calls. You got a great show.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Sure. I just wanted to say, I'm sure like President Trump said, I mean, if they really had anything on him with this, they would have brought it out and exploited it already.
Yeah.
Because, President Trump, since I was a kid, in the 1980s, everybody knew Donald Trump with the book Art of the Deal. And he's, always been around in New York City, and, all the social circles and all. But my point is, I just wanted to say that with Jeffrey Epstein, his last cellmate, who was an ex-cop, he was from Yonkers. I had met him once as an acquaintance basis in the 1980s, because he actually was from this neighborhood. And I'll always remember the guy. Yonkers was a different city then.
Wasn't Son of Sam also from Yonkers?
Yeah, he was right near my house. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'll never forget that.
Crazy.
That for the rest of my life, that when they quote Son of Sam, because it was the summer of '77. You had the Yankees, you had Son of Sam, you had the primary for mayor where Abe Bean was beat out by Koch.
Right.
And you had, it was just a crazy summer. But getting back to the guy who was from
blackout too, the big blackout.
Yeah, the big blackout, of course, all the looting in Harlem.
Yeah.
How Bushwick and those, all those neighborhoods burned and never came back.
That was mad. Crazy.
Yeah, it really was. But the guy who was his last cellmate was from Yonkers. I had met him years ago in the 80s in an acquaintance basis. And I'll always remember the guy. His name was Nick Tartaglione. He was a big guy. He always had a beautiful car. And at the time, Yonkers was less diversified. It was mostly, my area was mostly Italian, Irish American. Now it's more Hispanic, which is a good thing. Diversification is always good. But I know Nick Tartaglione, the cellmate of Jeffrey Epstein, he got jammed up himself, and he had lost his job as a Briarcliff cop because he had violated the civil rights the courts had come to the conclusion. Yeah. And I think the municipality had to pay out some money for what he did.
Well, how does this tie? Let's tie it into the Trump thing or Epstein thing. Like, get to the point, Al?
Oh, no, yeah, no. I just wanted to say that the guy was he was from Yonkers.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Al. Thank you for the call.
Have a good night.
Oh, thank you. You too. You need to click that continue. Not you, Al. Back at the studio needs to click the continue thing. So I may hang up. Yes, there you go. Thank you. All right. Let's try to hang up on Al. I was wondering where that was going. I'm like, all right, the guy, he's in the cell with Epstein. Did he say anything about Trump or anything? He's like, nope, he's from Yonkers. All right, he's from Yonkers. Amy, how you doing from Jersey? What's up?
Hi, how you doing, Anthony?
Just
I
grand.
really enjoy your show.
Thank you, Amy.
I'm a little bit nervous.
No need.
Being in Jersey, everybody, I have my firearms permit, and everybody's like, "Oh, when are you going to get your concealed carry? When are you going to get your concealed carry?" I said, "I'm never going to get it here in Jersey because, like I told your call screener, as soon as you pull that trigger, Anthony, yep. I'll become the criminal."
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Everything you've done or said, every political affiliation you've had, every vote you've made, every comment now that you make on social media will now be in front of a courtroom trying to paint you as a horrible person, a racist or something, whatever, they could pull up. Once you fire your gun, even in the most, if it's self-defense, and there isn't even a question about it being self-defense, you have to defend your life now in a courtroom. You did it out there. You were successful defending your life with your firearm. Now, a whole new chapter of your life. Your life will never be the same. And not only because maybe you're faced with some moral implications of taking a life that you have to deal with for the rest of your life, but now you're fighting for your freedom. Because there are people that think if you did that and you defended yourself, you should be in jail. And they will do everything in their power to make that happen. So very good, Amy. I like the way you think. You're thinking ahead and seeing what pitfalls there are in being a gun owner, and especially carrying that weapon with you out on the streets, not just in your house. That's why I always say, the second you put a gun on your hip and you go outside, you have to leave your pride home. You have to leave any part of your personality that is confrontational. If you do get into some type of road rage incident, you just have to wave and go, "I'm sorry." There are so many things that come with being a responsible gun owner, and having a violent personality, being somebody that gets into conflicts, you are the wrong person to be out there. You have to walk away from conflicts, even if you got to bite your tongue and, damn it, I know I'm right, or this piece of crap, he's deserves whatever he gets. You can't take that with you when you're carrying a gun.
Yeah, not even even just, back in the day, you'd be able to give somebody the finger, they cut you off in the car. Yeah. Not even down here in South Jersey. I don't even do that anymore. You just, all right, you just go do what you got to do. And because you never know if somebody's got like a criminal, somebody like you said in the city who just could carry it and the common person can't.
Yeah,
they have
care.
One in their car and they could pull it on you. It's happened down here.
Yep, and they don't care. They really don't. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for the call. It's strange because you better know damn well that your life was in imminent danger of being taken for you to pull a gun out that you legally own and use it to defend yourself or your loved ones. There's no brandishing. There's no pulling it out and go, "Hey, take a walk, fella." You don't do that. It is, if you are in a situation where, you are in imminent danger, because anything less than that, and boy, are you going to be on a roller coaster that could end up in prison, more likely these days than any other time in American history. Like I said, there are people and people in power, judges, district attorneys, citizens that'll be on that jury that have no want or need for the Second Amendment or for people to have the ability to use deadly physical force when deadly physical force is against them at some point. So, yeah, it's a battle. I tell everybody also, you got to get insurance. They want to, a lot of these anti-gun organizations, these liberal organizations that want to take away people's freedom and the right to bear arms, they talk about mandatory insurance. They want people to have insurance because any obstacle to throw into people's way, I can't afford insurance. Well, then you can't afford a gun. Anything they could do to put a speed bump in the way in between a citizen and their Second Amendment right, they will do it. But I implore people to get insurance, because the second that bullet leaves that barrel, you are in for the fight of your life, and it is going to cost a lot of money. Talk about a catastrophic illness, and you have to go to the hospital and you don't have insurance, and now you're in debt the rest of your life. Yeah, same thing. Same thing once you fire that gun. You will be broke. You may go to prison. Even if you don't go to prison and are acquitted, you are going to, your entire life is thrown up in the air. Try to get jobs, as the guy that was up on a murder charge, even though you were acquitted, and the money for lawyers and everything else. So, yeah, a good insurance policy. And there are companies out there that underwrite people, armed citizens, just in case something happens. It won't fix everything, but you sure as hell don't want to end up fighting that battle with what's in your bank account. That's for sure. And nowadays, like I've talked about all the time, I would have to maybe double think, triple think what I was doing, which is very dangerous in a situation where you're faced with a life-threatening prospect because of a conflict. You don't want to have to think. You want to react, training, reflex. But I have so much dirt out there, especially in the context of comedy. Lest you forget, I was a shock jock back in the late 90s and first half of the 2000s. Shocking shock jock. So, of course, a lot of the jokes that were made were sexist and racist and homophobic and Islamophobic. They'd all be considered that. But it was all under the umbrella of, yeah, you're a wacky disc jockey, shock jock guy. Well, watch how fast everything you said is taken in the context of absolute seriousness and gospel. Did you, Anthony Cumia, did you not say that Obama gonna take Aunt's money and give it all up to me in a song? Yes, Your Honor, I did, but it was all funny. Just answer the question. Yeah. So you got baggage. You have all that baggage that you're carrying around with you that can and will be used against you in a court of law. So be careful. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Be careful out there, because you don't know. There is a Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. And obviously carrying a firearm is great power. And the responsibility is doing everything in your power to never have to use it. It's not a toy, obviously. It's not a showpiece. It's not something that you use to threaten people or get your way or show someone that you're bigger than them. That is all trouble, all complete trouble. You know, I used to have insane road rage. I mean, insane. I scared the crap out of Opie one day. We used to drive in for the Opie and Anthony show from Long Island. And he would drive one day, I would drive the next, or he would drive 1 week, and I'd drive the other one going to WNEW in New York. And there were times he would just be cowering in the passenger seat because I would lose my mind driving in New York City. And, you know, once you're an armed citizen, you got to put that away. You got to put road rage to bed. And believe me, you can't not be angry and get road rage, especially driving in New York City. There are videos of me on YouTube from many years ago, one of which is, I guess it was the NBC, the Today Show. You know, they did that outside segment, and celebrities would be go from their limousine to the building where the show is going to be, and I think it was Michael Bublé, and he was getting out of his limo, and all these photographers, these amateur paparazzi, they would park in the middle of the street and try to get a picture of Michael Bublé, and I was stuck in that traffic jam, and you see the interview going on with Michael Bublé at the door, and you hear my car horn beeping and me yelling obscenities on, you know, an NBC morning show. It was hilarious. But, yeah, that's how angry I would get. And, like I said, you know, great power, great responsibility. You can't be a wannabe tough guy and have a gun. You got to be the guy that walks away. You got to be Kane from Kung Fu. Just, you know, well, all right, he fought every week. He was Mr. Peaceful Guy, but he fought every week because people hassled him, man. But, yeah, you just got to walk away from conflict. It's terrible sometimes, but, you know, you don't want to get caught up in something like that if you have a gun. All right, people? Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. But let's go to my good friend here, calls every week, Joaquin from PA. What's up, man?
Good evening, Mr. Cumia. Hey, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right?
There you go, man.
Know when to run.
There you go.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a stickler for details. I got to correct you a little bit. The Colt Single Action Army 45 was actually called the Peacemaker, something I'm very, very familiar with.
Yeah.
So it was the Peacemaker, not the Peacekeeper. But, you know.
Oh, I thought I said Peacemaker. City, I didn't say Peacemaker?
No, you said Peacekeeper.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Peacemaker. Thank you, Joaquin.
I'm sorry to be a smartass. Anyway, you know, in New York City, you can't even carry, you know, your station advertises burning purple ball guns. Mm-hmm. And guess where? They're not legal. They're not legal in New York City. Uh-oh. You know, so
don't think we
people have no options. And, you know, and then, of course, I also want to move on to the other thing about Trump. Yeah. Prince Albert McCann, right? He was dethroned or whatever. You know, so there's so many people involved in this. And then there's even Bill Barr's father, who had the ties to the OSS, who gave Epstein one of his first jobs. So there's stuff that goes really deep into that murky water.
Yeah, I think, you know, just the sheer weight of this whole thing, it's the reason no one wants to put these out, regardless of what side you're on. If you were on the left or the right, and you knew you had documentation that can really smear somebody that you want smeared, why wouldn't you put it out unless also, you know, your name's on there, people you know, people that don't want their name out there. It really is the only viable reason why we're not seeing what supposedly exists.
You know, and I would like to get to Islam while I'm on the air. I've been going, you know.
I would love to right now, but we might have to save that. I got to go to break, Joaquin. I am sorry that your call is going to be cut short this week, but we got to do it. We'll be back in moments. Don't go anywhere.